Hello and welcome to Matters of the Moment here on CRBC TV. It's always nice to have you join us on this program, and this one happens to be a very special one because the nation, talking about Nigeria, we're in a celebration mode. We are celebrating democracy in the country and of course in Cross River State. And today on the program we have a very competent guest on the program who has the capacity to handle all the questions we may have for him as far as democracy in Cross River State and Nigeria. He has been there at various levels of the democratic development of Nigeria and Cross River State. He has been a former member of the Cross River State House of Assembly, 2 times for that matter. He has been a commissioner for aviation here in Cross River State. He has been the DG, Director General of State Electrification Agency. And not too long ago, he was the commissioner for aviation here in Cross River State. And presently is an associate professor of law, University of Calabar. So join me as I welcome to the program this very beautiful day, Associate Prof. Jake Enyia. So welcome to the program.
Pleasure, thank you.
Okay, my name is Okwaite. I'm going to be anchoring this program along with my very, very delectable co-presenter, Udwak. Udwak, good evening to you.
Thanks, Okwa. Good to see you. And to all of us, happy anniversary. 26th unbroken democracy.
Yes, democracy.
Worth celebrating.
Okay, we are going to be seeing if democracy has not been unbroken. Let's see whether Nigerians have been broken. Okay, Professor Jake, let me put it that way. It's so nice to have you on the program.
Thank you.
You see a very intimidating resume I've read about you. You've seen it all right from the beginning when we started our 26 years of unbroken democracy. How would you say, let me start from asking you, how has the journey been for Nigeria as a country and for Cross River as a state?
Thank you so very much. I thank you for having me. At 26, we always hit our chest to say that we have moved forward, and it has been a successful story. It has been something that we should indeed click our glasses to say hooray to our country, Nigeria, notwithstanding the inhibitions we have here and there. But the summary of it all is that we have succeeded, and we are indeed succeeding. Thank you.
When you say succeeding and we are succeeding, how, success is a relative term. What may be success to you may not be success to some other person. So when you say we are succeeding, can you be a little bit specific? What are those areas Nigeria is succeeding as a nation?
Principally, for 26 years of unbroken, stable democracy in Nigeria, is not a mean feat. It is something that is great to us, considering the fact that we were under the military interregnum for 33 years. And gradually we took off from 1999. We've had a lot of reforms. And I'll say that Nigeria is gradually marching on and measuring with other developed nation states in this world. So in my candid opinion, we are doing well. The unbroken democracy for 26 years, like I said, has occasioned a lot of development to our country, Nigeria.
Okay.
Principally, even in the electoral reform, our political history had made some cardinal improvement, considering the fact that for 26 years we have been on. In other words, our democracy is stabilized now. It was not easy to be in a military interregnum with all the associated problems. But we tried to go out of this from 1999 and found ourselves on our feet as a democratic state. Politically, we have conducted successfully 7 general elections in this country. And we have had a very good transition from one political party, as the PDP in 2015, to APC without any crisis. These are cardinal achievements we should be proud of. It goes to measure the political sagacity of our nation state, Nigeria. Indeed, looking at other spheres of development, let me pick up on the infrastructure in the first instance.
Okay.
Nigeria had moved forward, given the state of our transportation system generally, by sea, by road, and by air. We have moved. By road, we can now feel at home going through our road through the rail system that has been developed in Nigeria today. You can see the massive improvement and development on our highways generally in Nigeria. The highways have been developed. You can as well look at the second Niger bridge in this country. It's a very important development, particularly for our economy. And again, considering that even the private sector, we have registered meaningful improvement. They have imbibed technology, and particularly in the financial sectors, a lot of improvement has taken place. We are operating just like developed nation states. We have implemented different types of scheme, financial scheme, particularly in fintech, financial technology. I forgot to mention the fact that our electoral system today is seamless because of the fact that we have put in place very important institutions for conducting our elections in Nigeria, that is INEC. INEC has been developed, has been put in place. And by our past experience, they've been doing well in all ramifications. We have even improved in our electoral system that today Nigeria can boast of conducting its election by means of technology. It wasn't here in Nigeria during the military. But today, Nigeria has adopted an electronic voting system and particularly put the use of beavers into place. It's a very high technology which can only be seen in developed nation states, but Nigeria has tried, notwithstanding the shortcomings. At least we have started in that regard. If you look at the tourism sector, it's not left out. Look at the nature of our tourism site in Nigeria today. A lot of tourism sites have been developed and put in place in this country, including our own state, Cross River. If you go to our museum, you cannot even imagine that this type of infrastructure is here in Cross River. It's a tourism site. Indeed, our antiquities and artifacts have been seriously repatriated by our government, and that are going to showcase the rich nature of our culture and tradition. Nigeria is not left out in terms of improvement on our airports. The massive renovation and rehabilitation of our airport in Nigeria is a great achievement that we can be proud of, unlike what it was in the olden days.
Some years back.
Yes. Even within our road infrastructure, you see, I've mentioned that already, the type of rehabilitation that is going in all parts of the country. We must be proud of that.
Well, Prof, I would want to just come in there, and I can see you giving us a rundown of how well we have fared and the achievements. But the worry here, like you picked on infrastructure, I would really like us to look at the situation of power. Even when you talk about the roads, how well are the roads, especially in the south and southwest? Do you think there's a balance in 26 years? How would you assess that? And we know the importance of power in any economy, and we are grappling with these 26 years down now. Now we've the emphasis now is on solar. I was talking with somebody a few days ago, and the person said from generator we are moving to solar and all of that. So what really happens? Because Nigerians are worried, Cross Riverians are worried. Yes, a lot is going on, but do you think that that is equivalent to the years of the unbroken democracy?
Categorically, I would say that notwithstanding the shortcomings we have in the power sector, there is a great development in this sector. It's just that I don't have the indices at my fingertips to give to you. Right from when we started in 1999, the investment in the power sector so far. Yet we are still crawling in that aspect, but marginally there is a serious improvement by government and intervention in the power sector. Given the reform that have taken place in the power sector, we are very hopeful that in no distant time, certainly what we expect from the power sector, that is for us to have an uninterrupted power supply in Nigeria for 7 days a week and 24 hours per day. We will certainly
get there.
We'll get there.
Okay, now,
Prof, we'll get there.
What we talk,
and even the intervention by the usage of solar.
Solar, yeah.
You know, there are a lot of communities or states in our country today that we don't have a linkage with the national grid.
That's true.
And those deprived areas, the best way is for us to have alternative sources of power supply, which the government is also pursuing very vigorously. You know, we're exploring all avenues to develop alternative sources through the wind, through water, the sea, through the sun. So we have in those areas that we cannot easily access the national grid. And so those communities, those areas are being served today by alternative sources. So I will generally say that we have tried.
Okay, now, Okwa, I would want to leave the national scene and narrow it down to the state. We know where we are and where we came from. Right now, one thing that is in the heart of Cross Riverian is security. When we talk about infrastructural development, I think, like somebody said, even the blind can see how far we have gone. But security is a biting issue. Prof, how can you allay these fears in the heart of our Cross Riverians?
The import and the magnitude of the problem of security and welfare are so much so that they are recognized in our ground norm, in our constitution, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, specifically Section 4, Sub 3, Sub C, clearly spelled out the fundamental objective of any government, security and welfare. And if you look at our state, we will say in law, we said it's res ipsa loquitur. The fact speaks for itself. Taking from where we were in 1999 today. If we are talking about 1999, it's too far. In the last two regimes or thereabout, what was the position of Cross River State vis-a-vis security? Indeed, the security situation was very, very bad. We have cases of kidnapping, we have cases of harassment, banditry, and the rest of them, extortions, and all other antisocial activities. But as far as this administration is concerned, with what has been put in place in Cross River State today, you and I will agree that the situation of security has been radically, not modestly, radically improved.
Aggressively.
Aggressively.
Because if you take a place like Akpabuyo, where a lot of us don't even get nearer, or we're always afraid of going to Akpabuyo and coming back late. But today, the reverse is the case. You can stay in Akpabuyo up to midnight and drive back to Calabar. There will be no harassment. There will be no kidnapping. Nothing. It shows the extent to which government has intervened. It shows indeed the impact of democracy, because the government is sitting on the seat of power arising from the mandate of the people. And the mandate of the people during the campaign is that address the issue of security, address the issue of welfare. And aggressively, His Excellency, the Sweet Prince, has indeed frontally addressed the issue of security in Cross River State. Calabar is now free, Cross River is free. Even the pocket of places we had issues. If you go there 24 hours, you'll see security men on guard in such area. So we don't have, in the past 7 or 1 year, we've not had any case of kidnapping or extortion or banditry. There's nothing like that for now in Cross River. At least you can walk tall at any hour of the day in Cross River without any fear
Of molestation.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. As you are just joining us, you are watching Matters of the Moment here on CRBC TV, and we'll have a big guest on the program, Associate Professor Jake Enyia, former chairman Buki Local Government Area, currently senior special advisor to the governor on political affairs. And we looked at the state of the nation. He has taken us all through the various phases of infrastructural development in Nigeria and what the various governments have been able to achieve in the 26 years we've had for democracy. Unfortunately, we don't have much time, so we will not go on break. I think we should just take it straight down to the wire. Okay, now, sir, the past couple of weeks, we have observed a pattern of defections from one party to the other. Perhaps it's only in Nigeria you can see such happening the way it has been happening. And I want to start to wonder, when you talk about democracy, how healthy is it? Because it looks as if we are moving towards what will appear to be a one-party government or state. How healthy is this for democracy?
Your question is not complete. You would have or maybe I should complete it for him by saying that, would you say that the power and the will of the people is being sincerely respected, or they are being coerced to do what they are doing?
At our age.
Not still completed.
At our age. Will you expect somebody to force you, to induce you, or to influence you to do what you don't want to do at your age?
That's what we're asking you.
Definitely, what is happening in Cross River, the spate of defection and the spate of endorsement of our governor for a second term in office, even when he has spent only 2 years and not even finished the first term in office. But almost everywhere in all the local government, even the opposition party, are saying he should come back for a second term. The logical implication of this is that the party in power is doing well. The governor is doing well. And so that is indeed the motivation by even those who are not members of the party. That's the motivation. They want. What they are clamoring for is good government. And if you are seeing a good government, what do you actually need? But that does not mean that we are working towards a one-party state. That is not it. It is just a demonstration of the will of the people that we love what this administration is doing, what this party is doing. That's what they are demonstrating. Regretting that if I knew, I wouldn't have been here. But now that I'm here, I want to join the people who are doing well for us. That is why you see the spate of defection and all that to the ruling party. I'm also seeing the spate of endorsement of His Excellency. I've represented His Excellency in 2 different very important endorsement exercises by all the opposition parties in this state came together at Transcorp to endorse His Excellency for a second time. What is the meaning of this? The meaning is that they are now very confident that His Excellency is leading the people well. What they are thinking about, what is good for the people that His Excellency is providing for them. See, providing infrastructures, electricity, cleaning the cities, and improving in all facets of our development. That is enough to definitely encourage even the worst enemy to say, my guy, you have tried.
Okay, now, the worry in the minds of people out there is, how healthy is this? I know the PDP slogan as at then was, the umbrella is big enough to contain. So I don't know how the APC is going to...
The broom is sweeping out all...
Yes, how is
negative...
the broom sweeping? Sometimes the dirt will be too much and the broom cannot carry it. You need a rake or something. How healthy is this massive decamping and all of that to APC? How healthy is it in our democracy?
Well, in the first point, I need to raise the issue that, when the spade of competition, election competition, electoral competition is not there,
okay,
certainly it will reduce a lot of expenditure, on elections.
That's right.
It will also reduce a lot of crises that always come out on the election period. It will also foster good relationship. But even if you go out to contest and you are one in the field, and your opponent extends a hand of fellowship, welcoming, extending an olive branch, definitely you like to follow. And this is what it is going on now. We are not saying that we are tilting towards a one-party state. One-party state is indeed dangerous. Even in advanced political development, it's not encouraged. And that's not what is happening here. What is happening here is a demonstration of the effectiveness and efficiency of the party in government and the leaders in government. Like our governor, you can take for instance, his philosophical base is on the principle of the people's first. He's saying the people's first. Whenever he sleeps, whenever he gets up from his sleep, whatever he do, any actions he takes, first, the people are the focus of his consideration. The interest of the people is supreme. And it goes to the philosophical basis of Jeremy Bentham. Jeremy Bentham is a philosopher of old. And he propagated the principle of the people first. The greatest happiness of the greatest number. If the people are happy and in their number, that is what we should follow. And that's what His Excellency is doing in our state. And that is why his slogan is People's First Governor.
Yeah, there's no doubt the governor is doing very, very well.
Yes, because he will not establish a project in a place without consulting the people.
But the question remains, is there no better way of demonstrating your support to government than by crossing over to the party? Must you cross over to the party to support, to show that you are supporting
Take notice of the fact that our political ideology in Nigeria today are not being perfectly fixed on whether it is capitalism or socialism. Or you're members of PDP yesterday, today are members of APC, and vice versa. It's been happening like that. And that is not to say that...
because we are not working on a particular structure.
But particularly,
Ideology.
what is happening in our state today is a fact of performance of His Excellency and nothing else.
No doubt.
Yes.
Yeah, Prof, I want to take you back again to something I would say is disturbing. You did say here that the APC government is doing very well. And I try to juxtapose this with the rising cost of inflation, which is the worry of every Nigerian. So in as much as everybody sees the decamping, everybody sees the endorsement, and the question remains. And then you hear some other people shouting, no, they cannot come back, the APC government is not doing well, the rising rate of inflation, people are dying. So what do we have to say about this?
The fact of...
people are crying wolf, and at the same time, they still want that government.
People are complaining about issue of hunger, issue of high prices, and so many others. Yes, it is given. People are bound to complain. And the nature of man, like we studied, man has an insatiable desire to have things. That is given. If you give man today a Corolla car 2024 model, the next day you want you to give him 25 model, and so on. But man forget the fact that the wants are just limitless, but the means to satisfy those wants are limited. So even in government is an institution. It's a conglomeration of the wishes of the people. And indeed, we donate power to those who are sitting or superintend over us. It's a social contract. So it is not every part of what the other party in the contract we want that we will see. Those things are there. Yes, we agreed. We voted for them to be in place, to handle our common wealth and distribute it equitably and all of that. But it is not at all times you have to do this. So the issue of inflation itself is not a determinant of the persons in government or the government in power, even though their policies to a reasonable extent will influence the financial policy in place, and other policies may influence the cost of living. So it's a factor of the economic indices, both the micro and the macroeconomic realities that gives rise to what we are. If you look at the petroleum prices, you believe that we produce petroleum in Nigeria, and we have the highest cost of even buying it for our cars, for our home use, and the rest of them. Are you saying that it will be the government in power, their deliberate intention to suffer the people?
Of course not.
The answer is no. So some of those economic variables are not controlled within our own economy. A lot of them are from international perspective, external. So they are not consciously controlled by us, even though the government gradually make policies that indeed salvage or reduce, mitigate the effect of these hard policies or these hard issues we face in the economy.
Yeah, Prof, our time is not on our side. The next program is about to come up. But before we do that, I know that there are some personal concerns, especially so as the political advisor to the governor, that you would want to share and would want to address. Can you quickly lead us into those things, what we should be seeing, what we should be expecting, and how it should be?
Will you imagine that in only 2 years out of 4 years, we have these radical changes in Cross River. We have this massive intervention in Cross River in almost all the sectors of our economy and even our personal welfare, just in 2 years out of 4 years. So if I ask you, what would you even imagine in the next 2 years before we'll be thinking of another 4 good years? So our governor indeed is trying. Our president is trying. What I expect from the citizenry is to allow them the opportunity to even consummate these remaining 2 years so that we can perfectly do a comparison, a measurement of the achievement. We cannot start criticizing this early. We cannot start demanding those things that are personal to us so early. Allow them the opportunity to do that which is common for the generality of the people, which they are doing now. If you go to our
conclusion, the president is trying, the governor is trying. You don't put Nigerians. Nigerians are equally trying.
The citizenry.
Yeah, I know you have. I said earlier that you had the capacity for this particular focus on our program today, but because of time constraints, we may have to stop the program now. Before Woodwork rounds up officially, I want to remind our viewer out there. You could follow us on our social media handles talking about CRBC. We're on Facebook, CRBC. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We're on TikTok, CRBC Online _. You can equally reach us on YouTube, CRBC New Media, and of course on WhatsApp on number 0903 778 747. You can do well to follow us on these various angles.
Thank you, Okwa. And as I've always said that in opportunities like this, one is always desiring. If I come on CRBC, this is one thing I would want to leave with the people. So for now, that's the much we can take. And listening to Prof. J. Enyia is always a delight and anytime. Thanks for being our company and do join us next week.